When a $1 million HDB flat first appeared in Queenstown back in 2012, it was something hardly anyone thought could ever happen. After all, HDB flats were meant to be the foundation of affordable public housing in Singapore, and the idea of one selling for more than $1 million seemed absurd. Yet, over the years, what once seemed like a bizarre one-off has now become an increasingly common occurrence. Today, $1 million HDB flats are no longer rare. Instead, they now account for close to 6% of all transactions. But here's the interesting part. Not every town produces these record-breaking flats, but rather they are concentrated in just a handful of estates, where heritage, prime location, and limited supply combine to create the perfect blend of sky-high valuations. That's why in today's video, I wanted to check out the top 5 most expensive 4-room HDB flats to uncover what makes them so special and why buyers are willing to pay such a high premium for what was once meant to be affordable public housing. So, let's begin with the estate that started it all, Queenstown. In August 2024, a 4-room flat in Block 90 Dawson Road was sold for a record-breaking $1.38 million, which still stands as the most expensive 4-room flat in the town today. Completed in 2016, this unit has a size of 95 square meters, or roughly 1,000 square feet if you are wondering. Looking at the floor plan, you might have thought that it was just another standard 4-room flat. But make no mistake, this flat was far from ordinary. In reality, it was a premium apartment loft, one of the rarest types of HDB ever built. The unit came with a high ceiling, giving the home an airy, spacious feel that set it apart from conventional HDBs. It also featured a private balcony, a cozy retreat to enjoy a morning coffee or relax in the evenings. Its high floor position offered unblocked views, breezy airflow, and extra privacy, all while being fully renovated and in immediate move-in condition. This is an HDB flat with condo-like features, but still priced within the realm of public housing. And it wasn't an isolated case either. Similar units in the Queenstown estates have also sold at these prices. For example, in July 2024, another 4-room premium apartment loft at Dawson Road went for $1.3 million, while bigger 5-room lofts in the same estate have been sold for around $1.3 million to $1.4 million in recent years. Still, when you compare to the broader HDB markets in Queenstown, the price point isn't too far off either. In recent quarters, median resale prices for 4-room flats in Queenstown have already reached $1 million. This shows that even ordinary flats in Queenstown are fetching prices close to the $1 million mark. And a big part of it is thanks to its location. Queenstown sits on the city fringe, which is just a short train ride away from Orchard Road and the CBD, making it one of the most convenient HDB towns to live in. At the same time, it is also a mature estate with a full suite of amenities, from shopping malls like Anchor Point, food hubs like Alexandra Village, to lifestyle spots such as IKEA Alexandra and Queensway Shopping Centre. Not only that, the Dawson precinct has also gone through a major facelift. Once made up of aging rental blocks, in 2007, the area was redeveloped under HDB's SURS program into modern high-rise projects such as Sky Terrace at Dawson and Skyview at Dawson. With features such as sky gardens, landscape decks, and integrated community spaces, this rejuvenation has boosted demand and reshaped how people view Queenstown flats. It is no longer just about buying a place to live. It represents aspiration, while owning a home in one of the most central, well-connected and revitalized neighborhoods in Singapore. And for many of these homeowners, and possibly even you, refinancing can be a smart way to save money. For example, a simple reduction from HDB's 2.6% loan to the 1.6% bank loan that we have today on a $1 million loan could mean over $6,200 in savings every year. And here's where Cashew.sg can help. So instead of having to manually dig through different bank websites or spending hours calling hotlines just to ask for rates, with just a few inputs, Cashew helps you compare the best loan packages across multiple banks, all in one place. This service is completely free. There are no hidden charges or sneaky fees involved, because Cashew earns its commission from the banks, not from you. So you get all the benefits without paying a single cent. And if you ever have questions, their AI chatbot is surprisingly handy. Whether you want to check for loan rates, understand the fine print, or just get a bit of refinancing advice, the chatbot is there to help. It's like having a friendly mortgage consultant on standby 24/7 without the awkward sales pressure. On top of that, Cashew is currently offering exclusive cash rewards for my viewers. Depending on your loan amount, you can get anywhere from $100 to $3,500 back in cash when you refinance through them. So you are not just saving on interest, you're also getting rewarded for doing it. Check out Cashier SG using my link down below to see how much you could save today. Moving on from Queenstown, we now head over to the central area where the most famous $1 million HDB project sits, Pinnacle at Duxton. If Dawson is remembered as the birthplace of the $1 million flats, Pinnacle is most well known for its status as Singapore's most iconic HDB project. The project was born out of an international design competition in the early 2000s with the goal of reimagining what public housing could look like in a modern city, and the result? A development made out of 750-story blocks and came with these sky bridges and sky gardens. When it was completed, it was the tallest public housing project ever built, and to this day, it still holds that title. Living here comes with unbeatable convenience, where residents can literally walk to the CBD with hawker centres, cafes, and multiple MRT lines right at the doorstep. When flats at Pinnacle were first launched in 2004, its 4-room units were priced at between $290,000 and $380,000. While those numbers may look cheap by today's standards, Pinnacle was already priced at a premium as compared to the typical HDB flat, which back then only had a median resale price of around $241,000. And as the estate matured, its prime location in Tanjong Pagar and its award-winning design sent values soaring. Earlier this year, a 4-room flat at Pinnacle sold for $1.518 million, making it the most expensive 4-room HDB flat in Singapore thus far. It was a 94 square meters unit located at the 49th story of Block 1C. By itself, the unit wasn't unusually large. In fact, it had the familiar layout of 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a kitchen, and a living dining area. But what truly sets it apart was its floor-to-ceiling windows, which stretched across the living and bedroom spaces, offering unblocked panoramic views over the city skyline and Chinatown, something that few HDB flats can ever rival. While there were many potential buyers who came to view the flat, it was eventually sold to a 41-year-old local couple with a 12-year-old son.
Congrats! Happy for you. Nice.
Interestingly, the sellers had originally listed it at $1.52 million, but eventually agreed to a small good luck discount of $2,000, closing the deal at $1.518 million. With HDB's valuation at $1.41 million, the buyers had to top up around $108,000 in cash overvaluation. Unsurprisingly, this wasn't just a one-off. Pinnacle has seen multiple record-breaking transactions over the years, from 4-room units regularly breaching the $1.4 million mark to 5-room flats that have even reached $1.6 million in recent months. While Pinnacle started out as an ambitious design to prove what future HDB housing could be, unfortunately, the reality today is quite different. As demand for housing surged, most newer flats have been built with standardized cookie-cutter layouts using prefabricated construction methods, where they prioritize efficiency and speed over bold and unique design. But who knows, perhaps as Singapore continues to evolve, we may one day see more landmark HDB projects that push the boundaries of design, just like Pinnacle did 2 decades ago. Until then, Pinnacle remains a rare reminder of what's possible when ambition meets public housing. And speaking of rare, our next stop brings us to Tiong Bahru, one of Singapore's oldest and perhaps most charming neighbourhoods. In May 2023, a flat at the 4th floor of 50 Morgan Terrace stunned the market when it sold for $1.5 million, setting a new record for HDB resales at the time. What made this sale remarkable was that the unit wasn't in a sleek high-rise, but inside a walk-up block with no lift access. It was an old flat that was completed in 1973 and had only 48 years of lease left at the time of sale. Yet, despite its age and limitations, the flat's huge size and rarity made it one of the most desirable homes in the estate. This was a jumbo flat, which meant that it combined 2 adjoining 3-room units into one massive residence. At 1,894 square feet or 176 square meter, it was almost double the size of a typical 4-room flat, and even larger than some private condos in the same neighborhood. Inside, it managed to keep a balance between heritage and practicality. Retro terrazzo floors and whitewashed walls brightened the space. Timber flooring in the dining hall brought warmth, all while large windows let in plenty of natural light. And of course, much of the flat's appeal also came from its surroundings. Tiong Bahru is one of Singapore's most unique neighborhoods, with pre-war art decor blocks, wet markets, and coffee shops that sit alongside hip cafes and boutiques. Its location, just minutes from the HDB, makes it incredibly convenient, while its heritage vibe gives it a character that newer estates simply can't replicate. This unique combination of space, Rarity and neighborhood appeal helps explain why buyers were willing to pay such a premium even for an older flat with a much shorter lease. Next, we now move on to Toa Payoh, where a much newer development has set a new record. In March 2025, a 4-room flat at Block 118A Alcove Crescent, part of the Alcove Lakeview project, was sold for an eye-watering $1.25 million, the most expensive 4-room HDB resale in Toa Payoh to date. Unlike the aging walkouts in Tiong Bahru or the iconic Pinnacle at Duxton, Alcove Lakeview is a relatively new BTO project, launched in 2015 and completed just a few years later. That means the unit still had close to 95 years of lease left when it was sold, giving the buyers the kind of security that older HDB flats simply can't offer. At about 1,044 square feet, the unit was on the larger end, especially when compared to today's 4-room HDB flats, where the standard size is around 969 square feet. Located between level 10 to level 12, the home was finished in a clean and modern style, typical of newer BTO flats. Its layout is straightforward: 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a kitchen, and a living dining area. But the use of bright finishes and large windows made the space feel open and welcoming. What really made this unit stand out though was the balance of space, functionality, and the long-term peace of mind that comes with a nearly full 99-year lease, a combination that many buyers today are actively looking for. Stepping outside, Alcove Lakeview itself offers a different kind of charm. The estate is part of a larger Bidadari master plan, which was built around the idea of a community in a garden. Residents get to enjoy landscaped courtyards, walking paths, and immediate access to Bidadari Lake and Alcove Lake, giving the estate a rare sense of greenery despite being in a central location. And speaking of location, Woodleigh MRT station on the Northeast Line is just a short walk away, linking residents directly to Dhoby Ghaut, Serangoon, and the city centre within minutes. With this combination of convenience, greenery, and long leases, it shouldn't come as a surprise that most other 4-room units around Alcove Lakeview had already been changing hands for about $1 million to $1.1 million. So while this $1.258 million transaction stands as the highest on record, it wasn't entirely unexpected, but rather it shows how Bidadari flats have quickly established themselves as premium homes that buyers are willing to pay top dollars for. In fact, Toa Payoh as a whole has been steadily climbing the charts for $1 million HDB sales. In 2024 alone, more than 150 flats in the estate changed hands for 7 figures, with most of them concentrated in Bidadari projects. This makes Toa Payoh one of the top 3 towns in Singapore by volume of $1 million transactions, a clear sign that buyers are increasingly treating it as both a lifestyle location and a long-term investment hotspot. Last but not least, we now head over to the Kallang Whampoa area. In October 2023, a unit at Block 8B Upper Boon Keng Road was sold for $1.3 million, making it one of the most expensive 4-room resale flats ever in the estate. This particular flat was located on the 28th floor, giving it a sweeping unblocked views over the Kallang River and even Marina Bay Sands in the distance. At about 1,023 square feet or 95 square meter, it again had the familiar setup of 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a living dining area. What buyers were really paying for wasn't just the layout, it was the combination of high floor views, central location, and a relatively young lease. Kallang Trivista itself was only completed in 2016. This meant that the flat still had nearly a full 99-year lease remaining. This is a major plus as compared to older million-dollar flats in estates like Queenstown or Tiong Bahru. And unlike newer prime location housing projects, this flat wasn't bound by PLH restrictions such as a 10-year minimum occupation period. That gave buyers more flexibility to resell in the future, thus making it a particularly attractive purchase. Outside the unit, the location speaks for itself. The block is within walking distance of both Kallang and Bendemeer MRT, providing easy access to the CBD, Paya Lebar and Bugis in just minutes. On top of that, the neighborhood is in the middle of a major transformation. The Kallang Alive master plan is set to redevelop the entire area around the sports hub, adding lifestyle facilities, recreation hubs, and park connectors. With more retail, dining, and entertainment options on the way, the estate is set to become even more desirable in the years ahead, which only strengthens the long-term appeal of flats like this one at Upper Boon Keng Road. Given all this, it is little wonder that Kallang Whampoa consistently records one of the highest numbers of million-dollar HDB transactions among all towns, driven by city fringe locations, strong transport links, and the rare mix of both newer projects and heritage estates. From Queenstown's pioneering Dawson Lofts to the iconic Pinnacle at Duxton, all the way to Kalang's city fringe hotspots, these record-breaking flats show that million-dollar HDBs aren't limited to any single type of property or neighborhood. Some buyers are drawn to heritage and character, while others prioritize modern convenience, long leases, and unbeatable views. What they all show is that demand for unique and well-located homes in Singapore remains incredibly strong. For the right flats, crossing the $1 million mark is no longer an exception, but rather, it is fast becoming the norm. Anyway, that's all for this video. Hope you found it useful. Like, share, and subscribe as I'll be posting new videos every week.